Hello, everybody. How we doing? How's it going? My setup's a little different today. I did not, uh, the routine. See, just there we go. That's better. I feel a little bit more comfortable. There we go. My setup's a little different. I was at Texas Frightmare this weekend, and when I returned home, my studio was a little bit moved around, so I had to kind of do some last minute changes. But we're here. Let's see. There we go. How's everybody doing tonight? All the viewers, thank you for coming over here and hanging out with us here at my Manic Mondays. I'm CJ Robles. This is the Movies and Mental Health Podcast. I'm here on the Indie Escape Network, where we have 7 shows a week, all based off with independent creatives. So the Indie Escape Network, where creatives unite. I guess I just kind of wanted to kind of dive into today's episode with that Quentin Tarantino quote. He says, "I didn't go to film school. I went to films." That's got to be one of the most like most like informative quotes of all time, or of just filmmaking, because it's so simple. Like, you want to make movies, you just make movies. I tend to, when I was younger, to complicate them a lot of times and kind of make it way too hard or way too unrealistic, and not even go like attempt to take classes or workshops. And then it wasn't until I started taking all these classes and workshops and letting everything kind of flow into my head that I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. This finally makes sense to me. So I was a lot of practice, and that quote. I like Tarantino's movies. I like his style. I like his story. How he got up. He has a his. I like the way he met Harvey Keitel. It's kind of a cool story online if you ever get the chance. I don't want to butcher it. I don't want to ruin it. But the way he met Harvey Keitel to get the money for Reservoir Dogs is insanely cool. But one quote I did get from Quentin Tarantino. I was watching. I think I want to say Inside the Actor's Studio with was it James Lipton or John Lipton? Can't remember. But he was talking about how if you want to do something, you go to the filmmakers. If you want to be an actor, or you want to be in movies, you go to filmmakers. If you want to be an actor and you don't know how to become, you want to be a better actor, then go to the actors. You want to be a writer, you can hang out with writers. And I started doing that a little bit later, like in my late 20s and my early 30s, and I've been doing that now. But I noticed that after I started doing that, my mind changed a little bit, because you're starting to have not someone to compare to. I mean, I definitely compare, but definitely where someone that's has a little bit maybe advice or a little bit more guidance in the field that you're in or the field you want to get in. So whenever I see that like Quentin Tarantino quote or just anything he says, I'm like, yeah, he started like from the bottom, then he went up and became a great Hollywood filmmaker. But I'm definitely down into the independent filmmakers of all of everything. That's my thing. I'm an indie guy, but I'm wearing my shirt that I wore this weekend still. I mean, not I took it off. This is my. There's a movie called The Monster Squad, and we had Andre Gower on. He's the main character on one of the main characters in the movie, and he was on at the end of the night, and he came on, and I got to chat with him. Or he was talking, and I was chatting, but it was great to kind of finally get to meet one of my kind of like child heroes, but just one of my great movies of all the time that I've enjoyed, and I got to meet the whole cast at Texas Frightmare. So if I enjoy movies, I enjoy having like how figuring out how they work and how to do them. Like, I go straight to the source, and man, I enjoy this. I enjoy this a lot. Like, getting to like really learn from just like the pros, learn from the people that are doing it, and learn from your peers, and learn from other people that know it, that know what they're. I mean, that or attempting to do. But this is great. Like, I love that I got this signed, and there's a famous quote in there that says. Wolfman got nards, and so I got nards written on my poster twice. But just even the stories I got to get these signatures was awesome. And you get to meet like the characters. Here's there's Andre and Ryan, so the Sean and Rudy characters. So that was the let's see where the photos at. Oh, where did I put that? So there's the Rudy one. Oh, here's the Sean one. There's the Ryan's character Rudy, and then Andre's character Sean. Cool. It was a great movie, Monster Squad. If you ever get a chance to watch it, just I was just just hanging out with them in the room was pretty cool. Just giving them their get to see them in their element, work with other people was great. Other people that were at the event were with the whole I got to get the look at that. This is my first photo at a convention that I got with 3 of the talents on one photo, so that's pretty cool. I like that. Like, I kind of, and I get them, and I get majorities made out to my son. The movie poster is made out to me because it's me, but majority of my signatures that I get from the celebrities or from any of the talents or the anybody on at the conventions are make them out to my son, and if they can write anything nice, special for him, or I think like it's more like a time capsule where he can he can watch these later, or if he's watched the movie like Monster Squad and he really likes it, and then later on he I can show him like, look, I met them, and here they are. Here they have some words for you, some encouragement. So just I don't know. The world to me is a little silly these days. But there we go. And then there's Stefan Mack. He plays a father, man. He does such a great job. But I enjoyed my signature by him because he did the. I asked him to do the. He goes, "What do you want me to write? What do you want me to write on your poster?" And I was like, "Oh man, I like your scenes with your son. Like in the movie, you did such a great job of playing a father, like a stern father. But like, it's a great movie because it also like deals with like divorce, and I'm a child of divorce, and they focus on certain things for the kids that necessarily like they I guess try to blind or they don't want to like bring up or whatnot. But I told him, ask him, can you put the quote in the movie? It's not the same one from the movie, but it's close. It's when Sean asks his dad to go watch if he can go watch the movie with his friends, and his dad says no, and he's like, which movie are you gonna watch? It's like Massacre 5, and he's like, what are you talking about? Or they could cut him up, chop him up, and blow him up in a blender, and he'll still come back. And he wrote that at the bottom. I really enjoyed that, just the conversation we had there. But as we're talking, and I'm seeing the times are kind of going by. I did also I got to hang out with Leo Rossi. Sorry, Leo Rossi, and I thought he was a great. I had two little sit downs with him. He was a great just person, just genuine, real good character. And he played. This is a movie with him and Corey Haim, Fast Getaway. He plays his father, and I always thought that he was a great father. And he goes, "You like me in that role? I was a robber." I was like, "Yeah, but you're a good supporting dad. That was great." He goes, "Oh, thank you." But so as I'm talking about this and all these the convention talk is fresh off my head too because I just did it this past weekend. I want to say that this is the reason why I'm here is because of the Indie Escape, and my guest tonight is a filmmaker and is someone that I had on last week for Crowd the Fund for his movie Harlow's Hunt that'll be shooting in Central Florida. But I have once again we're talking this week about Harlow's Hunt and just all his anything that he wants to talk about movie wise because I'm here to pick his brain a little bit. Let's bring him on. We're gonna bring on Terry Jarrell. What's up, Terry?
Hey, CJ, how you doing, man?
Doing well, man. Just here. I'm happy you're here to hang out, dude. It's
Hey,
cool.
well, I'm thrilled that you invited me again. I mean, you didn't chase me away after the last one, so that's got to be worth something, right?
Yeah, it's like one of those things where I was just like, I want to guest. I need to get more guests on the show, and because I have my self checks, but I don't want to do too many of those. And after talking to you, I was like, man, this he's kind of like I'm catching him right at that perfect moment where
Over
he
caffeinated.
started. Yeah. And I'm just like, man, you know what? I want to support it a little bit. Let's talk about his movies, but also let's talk about how he got here, and let's figure this out because you're also a convention guy as well, right?
Yeah, I kind of, you know, and I kind of almost go back and echo your thing that you put up with about Quentin, how you just there's no like formula, and I've found there's like no um, just one way of doing things, especially with indie film. I mean, it's wide open. I mean, go at it. And I've been around so many different facets of filmmaking, from the technological side, which my background is in tech and working with filmmakers and artists and graphic designers and stuff for years, plus my love and passion for films and watching horror since I told you a little bit earlier, since the old days, the 70s, 80s, and all these influences. It just kind of I'll steal the blender comment. It just kind of goes into the blender, and then you come up with this smoothie that's just delicious of all these elements that just happen to work. And I've worked on a bunch of shorts and commercials and just different types of productions, and a lot of people know me as the drone guy or whatever, and which to me a drone it's very cool because it's an aircraft, but that's a whole nother conversation. But it's
Yeah,
basically a camera. It's just like any other camera. Well,
yeah,
whatever. And the aircraft just puts that camera in spots you can't normally um, put your camera. So you know easily or economically or practically or whatever. So again, that's just kind of another layer of the tech. But you know um, things have just gotten so good and so affordable, and open all these doors for smaller filmmakers and indie filmmakers. I look around and I see, these people doing things, or not aware that they can do things now. And that's what I'm a big champion for. Like, hey, don't, the excuses are gone. I mean, for not a lot of money, you can get out there and make your movie tomorrow. And so that's what I really kind of, cheerlead for other indie filmmakers. I try to help if I can, or how I can, whether it's making contacts, or collaborating, suggestions, advice, whatever. But yeah, so kind of all that rolled into Harlow's Haunt. And we're really advocating the Florida film scene. We have a lot of amazing talent here, both sides of the camera. Central Florida, between Orlando and Tampa, is really lighting up. We've got a lot of talent and a lot of interest in doing stuff here. So we're making the area a big part of the film as well. I mean, the locations are real locations, and they're going to be big characters in the film themselves. So yeah. See, I told you I'm over caffeinated. You just have to jump in and tell me to shut up.
I'm here. That's the thing. Like, I feel like you talk a lot, but I'm like, I listen way more than I talk. And that's, if you can find that hard to believe, it's hard. But I'm like listening to it, all that, because I have actually, like I said, I was moving everything around. I left my notes on the other side of the table, but I can remember, because as I was listening to the podcast we did last week, I was like, you were actually talking about how you were going to have, you just said it right now, you're going to have Central Florida be like part of the movie in it. And with that drone, I don't know if like I'm a geek in certain ways of tech, but I don't go too deep into stuff because I like, it overwhelms me. But like having that drone, and it's like it's 3D space, like it's fluid, it floats. It's like, imagine the possibilities. You just said it right now. There are no more excuses. You cannot like, if you can just make a movie, somebody will watch it, and regardless whether they like it or not, somebody took the time to watch your movie. It's like that's a good start. Let me go some of the comments real quick. We got Joe Ridgely in the house.
Joe Ridgely. Joe Ridgely.
That's the guy. That's the
that guy.
That guy.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, I know him. Hey, Joe.
He's from Florida, apparently. That's what I hear.
That's what I understand. Florida guy. Went out once.
And then there we go. This is from Amy Rolfson.
Amy Rolfson. Amy is on the cast of Harlow's Haunt.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, she plays Beth. Yeah, Amy has been on set already, and boy, she has a fun part. They all have a fun part. Every character has got a fun part, but yeah, Amy is killing her role so far, and can't wait to see the final result. See, I'm like just itching. I want to go out and shoot like right now.
Dude.
I'm like, can we, instead of shoot this day, can you guys just get in the car now and let's just meet? And I just really love being on set and playing this stuff out.
So I'm the pre-production. I love pre-production.
Oh yeah.
I'd be like, pre-production, set, and post-production. Like, I love pre-production. It's just one of my, because you're planning it, you're figuring it out, you're creating it. Post, I get it because you're already at the end, so we're figuring it all tied all together. But set, I've talked about it. I think I said it with you. Like Murphy's Law. I have Murphy's Law when it comes to filming, and it's just like every time day comes to filming, like something has to happen. Something slows me down, but you can't stop.
It never fails. Well, that happened to us this weekend. We were scheduled to shoot Saturday and Sunday nights, and we got rained out both nights. So of course you have to be adaptable. You just shrug it off. You end up at Denny's. Amy will tell you about this, with a big giant bowl of French fries sitting around, and figuring out the next days we can move the shoot to. So, and again, that's kind of a nice thing about, well, I won't say just with indies, but where, productions this size, if you kind of plan it out right, or you kind of just, get in the flow with it right, you can be pretty agile, you can be pretty adaptable. And even with the gear I'm using, talked a little bit about that. I'm using some interesting gear, and I'm not going to give too much away before the movie comes out, because I think it's going to be surprising when we do the BTS show, and about how we made it. I mean, because I've got people who are like, really, that it's like, yeah, I mean, it's working through the tech of the hardware, the software, the whole workflow, the whole thing. You can get amazing, crazy amazing stuff. And so, it gives us a lot of options on days like if you do get a rain out, or if you have a curveball thrown at you some way. And again, with our cast, and we're really lucky with our location sponsors, I guess you would call them, because they are major attractions in Florida, and they're so excited to have Harlow's Haunt being, or they're us basically working together in a way, have their stuff or their environment featured in the film. That they've been fantastic, and working with us, and bobbing and weaving as weather and whatever throws a curveball. But again, we have that ability to sort of shift gears when we need to, and then stand on the throttle when we need to.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of that you got to read the air and go accordingly. And kind of going back what you said about pre-production, being organized, you have to have a plan. You have to know what you're going to do when you get out there, and get after it. And because you just never know with Florida weather. I guess I'm beating the weather up a lot right now, but because it really.
Texas, the same thing. Texas is like 16 degrees in the morning, and then by 11 it's like 78 or 9, and then like 4 it's 90, and then at night it's like it's 80, and then it's dropped down to 12. It's like it's you can't. It's hard to film. It's hard to do that. But even like that with just like the issues that occur, just like, all right, just keep going. One thing I picked up from the other episode, which were there's some funny parts of it, but your mother, Judith, is here tonight with us. Hello, Judith.
Hey, Mom.
Hi, CJ, Joe, and Terry. I gotta say that I think that's great. And even Mother's Day weekend is this weekend, but I think it's great when your mother supports you, because my mom is always like, I don't know what you're doing, how to do it, but here you go. I support you. I love you. I was like, all right, cool. So I feel that.
Support slashes puts up with for
yeah. Well, I got the my mom's more of like a businesswoman, so she's kind of more like I don't know how to do the hugs, but I'll talk to you through this. And then I'm like, well, Mom, I'm gonna talk to you through this now, because I understand a little bit more of the business thing. And I wanted to say this right now because when I was younger, like when I was like a teenager, doing getting on like random sets doing PA work, I'd see like directors and filmmakers and like meet like I'd be really young, like be around you guys, and you start bringing up all these crazy ideas on filming, and we're gonna do this, and I'd be like, oh, that's too much. I don't know. I don't understand why they're going way out that box. Keep it simple. And then as I started getting older, and I started realizing now I want to be around you now. Now I want to know like how you're gonna do it. How's it going? I want to see the process. I want to go through that, because to me, like, it's awesome. Like, it's one thing to like see it and then be around it and not really understand it, but it's another thing once it clicks and you're like, oh. Or like we shot one time outside at the film school here. I got asked to do a role, and I did it, and my first thing was like, hey, where's the shade at? And they were like, nah, there's no shade. We're just gonna film. And I'm like, where's this 101 degrees? Like, we're gonna get. I go, I'm the darkest guy here. I'll be fine. Y'all are gonna get burnt up. Like, and then we went halfway through. We went and bought a tent, because it was just like, I was like, you can't. But I learned that because I did a movie 2 years ago where I was in a pool for 16 hours, and I burned myself. I got burnt like bad. I was like. Yeah, we did. It was an outside scene. It was like they were getting the most of it. But I stayed in that pool all day. And then when I went out that night, went to a bar with a friend, and one of my friends goes, "Man, you are shiny. Look at you. You look nice." And then in the morning, I was like, "I can't move. I'm burnt."
A blowtorch.
I went to the doctor. The doctor goes, "Oh, you have a degree burn, like a 1 degree burn." And I was like, "You can." I go, "What is that?" He goes, "No, it's like an actual burn." Like, I was like, "Oh,
that is okay. Fun."
And then we got John. Was that John Reguera? He says, "Hey, everybody."
John is our. I don't even know what to call John. I call him a few things. No, John's like our PA, but man, he's jumping in everywhere. I mean, he's running the slate. He's kind of keeping me organized, and he's kind of my right hand behind the camera. So hey, John, glad you're on, man.
That's awesome, man. That's cool. I was just saying where I started. You start off PAs, and you work whatever, just anything you can do on the set. If you go as like with a friend, and they tell you, hey, stand in front of the camera, just do it. Like, sometimes it works.
It's that thing. It's that being agile. It's like, we were shooting, and it was night shoots, and John, he would throw in good suggestions, like, I'm moving the camera, we're doing this, the scene, blah, 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 it's playing out. And he was like grabbing light stands and, being like a human light stand and moving it. And it was just everybody, again, on both sides of the camera was like one mesh, one machine moving. And it was so cool to see. It was almost like a dance. And I've been going back and reviewing the shots and starting some assembly and things and pre-assembly. And it's just cool. I mean, it's the flow and the feel. And to me in filmmaking, some people might think it sounds corny or goofy or whatever, but I always kind of go back to why I watch movies. Why do I watch Raiders of the Lost Ark like once a month? I mean, it makes you feel something. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel happy. It makes you feel scared, but it makes you feel something. And I think that even goes deeper than maybe even like the entertainment factor. If that makes any sense.
No,
it's
I got something.
Connection. And movies plug into you, like Psycho. Go back to Hitchcock. I watch Psycho all the time. It's like on a constant loop. Because even just, I watch 10 or 15 minutes if I'm bored or not doing anything, or, on my iPad before I go to sleep. And I just feel there's little lessons to be learned, but there's some weird connection of maybe you saw that movie at a time in your life that was important, or it's like hearing a song and it kind of, it connects in a way. And I'll bring that back around to shooting here in the locations we're shooting in. They're fairly recognizable, whether you're local or if you've been a visitor. We have a lot of visitors here to Central Florida around Disney. One location is right pretty, it's not Disney, but it's really close. So it's a very common like overspill, like entertainment area. And so, they're, I mean, I don't know how many visitors a year they have. I mean, it's got to be hundreds of thousands, if not, into the million. But the thing I'm hoping for is, one of the things as far as making the locations a character is like if somebody visited here from, who knows, from Texas or from Idaho or wherever, and they see that, they're like, hey, that's that place we were at, or that's that thing we walked past. And you kind of have that connection, and it makes it fun. It's like, it's almost like playing a game. It's like, hey, I recognize that. And it kind of builds that familiarity instead of making it so, just generic or stale like that. And so I'm real big on that feel and connection of the whole thing. And going back to John and all that, just the contributions that little things like that can make a huge difference or huge impact, whether it's actually visible on screen, or it just speaks to the cast in a way, or however it informs everybody around, because we're capturing that moment. And so that that energy, it's like lightning in a bottle. I mean, if you can get it and it's revved up, then man, it's pretty amazing. So
yeah, I totally, man. That's why, like, right now when you said Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then I kind of caught me. I was like, is that your favorite movie? Is that if you watch it once a month, would that be your favorite, or is that your most enjoyable movie?
It's probably one I will never ever get tired of. Now the other Raiders movie or indie movies, I love them all, but the original Raiders, for some reason, it just, I don't know. To me, it's almost like, I know it's, plenty of people don't feel the same way. It's just my opinion. To me, it's almost like the perfect movie. It just has such a good story, the cinematography, the acting. I mean, it was what it was. And I don't know, it just really kind of, it's just something I never tire of. But I'll layer that right back to Psycho, Hitchcock. I learned so much from that movie. I was a kid, I watched that movie, and to me, it was like, and I knew even back then when I was young and I saw it, I knew what Hitchcock looked like, the big round guy in the suit. He was like all stodgy and stiff.
Good evening.
Good evening. Yeah, I always try to put together, it's like, how did this guy make this scary movie? It didn't make sense. And then it made me think and look and understand more about the filmmaking, about how the sets were built. And then when Universal Studios first opened here in Orlando, quite a while back, they had the Bates Motel in the house, and they shot Psycho 4. I think that was only on TV. They shot it there on location, And then they had like a walkthrough exhibit of Hitchcock's, like the magic of making movies. And I would just live in there when I go to Universal. I mean, it's like, screw everything else. I want to go here. And they had like the set. I don't know if it was the actual set or a replica of the shower. And it had all these moving walls and all this. And I was just, my mind was blown. It's like, so this shot was like this, and that's how they dollied back, as he's coming in, and they opened the wall up, but the camera was behind the wall, and then they moved this and they rotated that. And it was like, but you watch it, it's like, no, she's in a shower, and it's like there was so much, so many grips, moving this and opening these, and that's the kind of thing that just blew my mind and just kept sinking me deeper into filmmaking. So
yeah, dude, what you were just saying, like as you were explaining it, I'm like, all that just to get this perfect shot. Now figure it out and get it done. It's like, wow, like the challenge is more for me. I enjoy more, but man. Well, you see, Joe Ridgely says something about, let's see the new tattoo, Terry.
The new tattoo. Is this that kind of show? I didn't know if we could.
I don't know if the man is asking for it. It's the man with the plan is Joe Ridgely. I
told you, I'm saving that for when you come up. All right. I got to stand up.
Oh wow, that's detailed.
Tattoo. It's still healing. I've only had it a few days. The story. Speaking of being attached and emotional, that's my dog Dingo, and he passed away 3 weeks ago. Horribly devastating and traumatic. And I'd wanted to get a portrait of him for a long time anyway. And so that was, it's kind of a tribute tattoo. So I just said, hey, why not? I've got other tattoos, but I had that done. Went over to Hart and Huntington at City Walk over by Universal Studios. Artist named Isaac is amazing over there. If anybody's in Orlando wants the best tattoo guy, Isaac at Hart and Huntington. A little plug there, but he's just an amazing guy and really understood the sentiment behind it. And he, I think, went a little extra mile with it to really make sure it was top notch. But yeah,
dude, that looks detailed. Let me zoom in on that real quick. Let me get out of here.
I mean, it's from a photograph, and I'm trying to twist my arm around so it's as level as possible. But yeah, it's not finished yet. We have more to do down here. There's a bit more coming, but I don't know. I had enough tears streaming down my cheeks from the pain.
It looks great, man. I mean, that's a better story than mine. I got a tattoo on my back, and it was like, what happened? I went to Puerto Vallarta and I got drunk and I woke up with it. I don't know. I was 18. I don't know, but that's how it goes. That's a great tattoo. And sorry about your dog. I can see a lot of those attachments that we have, just happens, and it could either we could either process it a different way, and that's what my show's here for. Everybody needs to talk about something. But Amy was putting the bread there for the rain-in when y'all had to go eat.
Yeah. Boy, I could go on all night about the damage we did at Denny's. It was 6 of us ended up at Denny's, like about a mile from the set, and it was just pouring the rain. There's like 3 people in there, and so we just took over this table and we ate like crazy. We're loud. I mean, it's a wonder they didn't throw us out. And the waiter told me I talked too much. It was nuts. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I wouldn't expect anything less than a Denny's, man. I go for the entertainment, and I didn't know it was a dinner and a show. But Christine says, "Hey guys, hello, Christine. Remember you from the episode 2.
Christine is awesome. Christine is another of our cast. She plays Amber, and again, Amber is a great character, and Christine is killing Amber. She's just amazing, and I really am happy she's on board with us. And yeah, she's taken that part and just wears it. I mean, she's just killing that part. So you guys are going to have so much fun watching this.
I can't wait. And also because we got this guy in it. I got to hang out, sit down and talk to him. This good old John Dugan there.
Yeah, I've heard of that guy.
Yeah, he's going to be there. I forget he plays a green character or
yeah. Dugan, man. I love John. I just absolutely adore John. And actually I put like the first formal post out today, and I'll probably be doing a bunch more of them because I just stay running crazy and I get behind on any kind of social media. But John is playing, has come on board to play our title character, Harlow Greer. And what makes this all the more special, or to me, I mean, when John we talked about when he said, "Yeah, I'll do it," I passed out for about 3.5 hours, and then when I came to, it was the whole thing was when I wrote the story and then went into scripting it. The only person I saw in my mind's eye was John as Harlow. So I wrote it basically for John in a way, or for just, I could just see him in the part. It was like, I could not imagine anybody else. And so, I mean, you talk about perfect fit. And again, I'm going to pass out on set when
Dude, you're getting to hang out with him, and then I think we've done 3 shows prior, or 4 shows, with him and Joe and I, and so he knows of me. And when he saw me, I did one of these. Let's see if I can find. I had covered my face, like I had the photos from someone else, and I was covering my face, and he was talking, and he could talk, and people like love him, so his line's long, so I'm just kind of there, and I'm waiting, and finally I go, I got word from Joe Ridgely. Hi, it's CJ. He goes, "Oh, it's you!" And we started hitting it off, and I was like, "This is great." Like I actually did, to Joe's acknowledgement, I did a little bit of something I thought I wasn't going to be able to do, was drinking with Dugan. Did not work out very well for me. Yeah, he's great. John was the one that said, "Hey, let's take some silly photos." I was like, "All right, cool." I got a bunch of them with him. But just talking to him, and I talked to him a little bit about the movie. He was talking about it. He's like, "Yep, I'll be in Florida coming up soon, getting ready for that." I was like, "Yeah, dude, it's awesome." Like, I'm kind of like I'm like kind of seeing y'all. I'm on the outside looking in, and I can't wait till the movie's done. I figure out a way to bring you back on, because it's great watching this process you're going through. And you know what? A waiter can acknowledge a leader when they see him. Sometimes I was a waiter for 9 years, so maybe that's a compliment. You talk a lot is a good thing from a waiter.
Well. It's again, the cast and John coming on board. It's just going to be exciting. I can't wait to I can't wait for you guys to see this thing that's been rattling around my brain for months and months. So
yeah, and I was like going like, you're a writer, right? Is that what you did more on or the more technical, or on the?
I have done kind of everything. Well, as a writer, I've been an editorial writer for a lot of years. Before I moved fully into filmmaking, I was an Apple consultant and instructor. So I wrote a lot of training materials, courses, and I also wrote reviews, like tech reviews for different products, software, peripheral products, things like that. And then adding drones and cinematography, and I started writing for a Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association on how, again, kind of like indie filmmakers would use drones or the small camera systems. But again, there's only so much you can talk about flying a drone, really. I mean, it's just sort of, there's the fundamentals, and it's almost a learned thing. But the cameras are what of the 2 components in an aerial camera system. The cameras are the ones that really advancing, or that's again, the reason you're putting it in the air in the first place. So that was my interest. And so I kind of kept leaning more and more into that, and smaller camera systems and the power of that, and the software that is the second layer to that. It's not always about the camera. And that's where I found a lot of especially new filmmakers or new users get hung up. They think, well, I need a really expensive camera. Well, maybe. And it depends on what you're after. But if you're making your first film and you don't have a $1 zillion budget, you got a camera in your pocket.
God, yeah. You're right, dude. You're sitting on the computer. Come on, it's like.
I mean, you can do something. I mean, this camera is better than a camera that was this big 10 years ago. So don't get hung up on size. People think, oh, it's got to weigh at least 47 pounds. It's got to be at least 3 cubic feet. It's like, get rid of these parameters. Think about, what do you want to see? Think about your shot. then think about what you can do, what you have that can accomplish that, or at least get you close to the pin. And then you work up from there. I mean, this will be a starting point, like for your first film. Then your second film, maybe go a little bit further. I think I mentioned on the last show, I'm a big Robert Rodriguez fan.
Yeah.
And his first movie, El Mariachi, there is a couple little short things online. One is on YouTube. It's about 10 or 15 minutes long, where he speaks to a group of student filmmakers. And it's basically how he shot El Mariachi and how he was he was inspiring them on how to do that. And he's, there's no money. I borrowed this old, rickety camera and I just borrowed this, and, somebody gave me that. And it was like, I just scraped all this, kind of crappy gear together and went out and shot this movie, really kind of, guerrilla filmmaking at its finest. And, but was creative and thought of it from an artistic and a creative perspective, got it back in, did a very nice edit with it. Had to jump through a lot of hoops, but, then it turned into Desperado with Antonio Banderas and Salma Hayek. I mean, that, it caught some attention. It was like, wow, this is a really good story. And I guess, some money came into play at that point and said, well, let's redo this, but with a budget. So you never know what your skills are going to bring. And even if it's just the goal of getting your idea, your dream out there, getting your story out there, like Harlow's Haunt, I've watched it 5,000 times in my head.
Yeah.
I when it comes out, I'm going to be like I won't say unexcited, but I'm going to know what's coming every frame. It's like I've seen it so many times, but yeah, getting that out of your head and getting it in front of your audience. Don't let anything be an obstacle, because we have everything right now. Like I say, even if it's your cell phone camera, you've got something that you can at least get started and start building that creative vision with.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. It's like with just like what you say, Robert Rodriguez. He shot El Mariachi doing pharmaceutical studies. Like, he just got $7,000 and did it. And like I didn't mean to, but I ended up doing pharmaceutical studies for eight years.
Oh,
and I was like, yeah, I was a lab rat I'm trying to do something with my animation background with like my super secret lab rat years, because you couldn't even talk about that stuff. People would be like, "We need to go third eye," and I was like, all right, well then, whatever. I live in Austin, so it could be a little bit more liberal. And now it's super liberal, which I enjoy. But back then, you're trying to express yourself, try to do something, someone's always crapping on you. But, Robert Rodriguez, he shot El Mariachi and Desperado in my hometown.
Oh, wow.
So I'm from Del Rio and the Ciudad Acuña, so I'm from both sides. And and that's why in my first, when we started getting the escape going, they hey, CJ, you got to do a promo card for yourself. And I was like, where do I start? I don't even know where I started. But I go, but you know what? I did audition for the little boy in Desperado. But my buddy Ronnie and I, my dad got us an audition at the bank, and I think I sucked at acting at the time. So I was like, I know I didn't get it, but then they also noticed that I was a little bit taller. Antonio Banderas is only like 5'7", 5'8", and I was already like 5'7", 5'6", and they were like, nah, you're a little too tall. The kid they casted was the few months before we did. My dad got us in this role for Streets of Laredo. And he was the kid that we were hanging out with him all day, and he got the role. I was like, oh, I was with him on that set. And it's but one of the things I said was that Robert Rodriguez shot his movies there, and he left his film radiation, and I was exposed to it. So therefore, it helped me, because in Mexico, in Acuña, they have the Corona bar, and the wall. That's where they shot the whole fight scene in Desperado, where Chief Marin gets shot in the face. Quentin Tarantino, all that they shot that at that bar. So they have like the glossies, they have tons of photos from that day just all in that bar. And I was like 15 years old drinking that bar and hanging out. So I was like 21, and we go and hang out there, and I just look at those photos all day, and I'd be like, this is if you look at the photos, this is all the stuff between the movies. This is how they made it. Because there's a scene, they have photos of like where Cheech got shot in the head, and his body's like that, and like Quentin and everybody, like all the people are behind him. They're just looking at his body, like all these, like they're not in the movies, but behind the production steals it, and you're like, oh my god, this is so awesome. But it helps me connect the dots a little bit more. Like you were saying with Raiders, like I actually like Dave Madison's Wits End. I've seen it 4 times, and there's something about when I watched it, opposed to when when I watched it, that at the timing was like perfect. My brain was open to that, You watch that movie. It's slow enough for me to really learn what he's doing, what he's trying to tell, and it helped me translate my movie. So how I'm writing, I'm like, oh, let me connect the dots here, and that was really that's something I really enjoyed. And also like Heather Landing Camp, Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street. She I spoke to her at 2019 Texas Frightmare, and she gave me some good filmmaking advice. And I was just kind of like, wow, this is so cool. Like the actress of like a major movie's now a film producer, and she does all this stuff, and like she's giving me like firsthand advice. Like that was awesome. Like I never thought, but she made that movie, that documentary, Never Sleep Again, which is like 12 hours long. I've seen it around 11 times. And the only reason I did that was at the time, well, I didn't have my kids. So at the time I was like working at the restaurant, and I was going to school. And my break was this movie, this documentary that I was watching, and it talks about they talk about all the mishaps that happen on filming, and I'm like, if this is happening to them, and it's happening to me, it's just part of the deal, baby. You got to get with it. And because I would shut down, I'd be like, what do you mean my actor just canceled? We're filming. I have a whole crew. What do you mean the camera guy just got shy, doesn't want to show up? I have audio guy. I have everybody here. What do you mean? Like, it's like at that point, it's just like, all right, I'll just learn it myself. I'll just go. And we have here a question from John. I like this. This is what the interactive vlog's about. He says, when writing a screenplay, how do you decide the length of the story?
It's usually when you think you're getting near the end of it and you pass out asleep at 5:30 in the morning from writing, and that's it. I'm done. No, that's a good question, because I don't know if there's really a solid answer to that. I mean, as far as the way I write, Harlow's actually the way I write is probably pretty chaotic. I have so many either half-page ideas, concepts, starter stories, thoughts. I'll be doing chores around the house or something. I'll just kind of get this idea like, hey, what if boom, boom, boom happened? And I'll try to get to my computer or pull my phone, the notes out, and put it in the notes. And that's sort of where Harlow came from, was a bunch of these different kind of concepts, and there's like a puzzle that started kind of clicking together. And then once I kind of had that framework, it initially started out, it was going to be a short, roughly 20-ish minutes, give or take a bit. And I know there's a lot of these local film communities that do like challenges, and they limit it to 10 minutes, and you do that. I wasn't interested in that. I wanted to actually make a real film, a real movie. But I was looking at that kind of content. But once I got into it and writing it, and these characters started coming alive, then that's when the story started doing this. It started growing, and then the different layers and elements, and it's kind of a weird thing. I mean, you almost sit back, and I'm nocturnal. I stay up really late when it's quiet. There's no noise. There's no TVs. There's no traffic, and I almost kind of visualize this character, or these two characters, having a conversation. And I'm just kind of like typing as fast as I can, trying to type what they're saying to each other. I mean, it sounds crazy, but then you look down and you've burned through 3 pages, and you reread and you start polishing and working it and all. But then it starts meshing. It's like, wow, I was like a fly on the wall listening to this conversation, when really you've created the whole thing. So that happens over and over and over. And something you mentioned, I think before we came on, maybe in the green room, about being inspired, and people that kind of give you that poke in the ribs, that nudge to just go to the distance. I had a lot of stuff written for this story, and I was at the point of starting to, okay, I got to start cutting this down, because I still had it in my head. It's just going to do a short. We're just going to make it short. And I was at Spooky Empire last fall, and I was talking to another super good guy. I just absolutely love this guy, Oliver Robbins from Poltergeist. And I was talking to Oliver, and I was telling him about the story and this and that. And he asked me how many pages, and I was in, and I told him, I said, yeah, but things going back. He said, you're crossing the finish line. Just keep on. He said, I remember hearing him say, you've got more story here. You've got more to this. You'll surprise yourself. Just do it. And I was like, and over the course of the next week or two, yeah, he was right. And so it just, the story almost tells itself, I think, if it has a certain dynamic. And again, I don't want that to sound like, I'm patting myself on the back, I wrote this great story. You always create these characters, and then your imagination can just, if they're a rich character, they will take a life of their own and grow from there. If they're not, and there were characters in the story that didn't make it, they got cut just like you would fire somebody. It's like,
Yeah.
that character's just not going to work. It doesn't fit here. And I'm really big on logic, keeping the logic lines make sense. If something happens on page 82 that connects to page 3, it needs to make sense. It has to line up. It's not any of this weird, an orange frisbee comes through the air for no, it's just kind of fun, but then again, it's like, does it really contribute to anything, or does it distract?
What is that thing? Sorry to interrupt. What is that thing, like God? It's called like the God thing, where you just say like act of God just comes and answers, like you have a problem, and don't do that. Okay, sorry.
Right. Now, another thing is Easter eggs. I do think Easter eggs are fun, and we've got some Easter eggs in Harlow's. So that'll be fun. Little like references here or there, or just fun little things.
Yeah.
And we've got kind of a fun plan for that that will be announcing closer to release too. But one of them, and Amy will get a kick out of this, one of them stemmed from our little tirade at Denny's the other night. So we found something to build in. But yeah, as far as the perfect length, it's kind of the rough length in pages for a feature is 90 to 95 pages roughly. Some people go like 120, some people go a little shorter, but I think it depends on how you're shooting, how you're using your space, and just kind of the vision of the story. I don't think you can really define it dead on the money. I think those are pretty good guidelines, but not like a set in stone gospel.
Yeah. If I could add to this, John, because what Terry, like just from this whole conversation we've had, what Terry said earlier, he says, I seen Harlow's haunting in my head over 20,000 times. Now, if that means he has a full movie already in his head. So if you have a movie in your head, just write what you see, and the story will come out, and then you'll find out how much meat you have. Like this morning, I got super inspired because Scott Meany posted his new song, Human Process, and I was like, not his new song, he made it 10 years ago, but he just decided to post it today. And it's like just inspired me, so I started like just thinking of ideas, writing, and I just recorded myself with a concept, and I sent it to him, and he goes, "Hey, I like this. Let's just see. Maybe we'll talk about this." And I was like, "Oh shit! I'm sorry." I was like, "Oh, I didn't know I could do that. Just reach out to but he's part of my network." So I was like, "I think he's a brilliant artist," and that song just kind of got me. But what happened was, as I started telling the story to Scott Meany, I started writing. I just started BSing myself, and a lot came out. So then I just grabbed what I could use, and then just started writing the story. And like you said, it's an equation. Make sure it makes sense. Make sure it goes in. If it doesn't, you got to just make sure at the end it's just nice and tight. And if at the end, if it's not, just say it's an abstract film and just keep going. And then you figure out from your last mess ups. Let's see. It says, Amy says, Terry's a brilliant writer, and I promise you guys are in for a treat. I know. I am. And we got 10 minutes left, so I might as well tell you what's going down, Terry. Because I see here, you got your nice graphics here. Harlow's Haunt. You were telling me about this is the ticket that people were enjoying.
The ticket, man, what a crazy thing. So there's the tickets are a prop in the movie, and so it kind of came out good. I'm not a graphic designer by any means. Our art guy Kevin Cleveland is awesome, and he actually designed the Harlow's Haunt, the scratchy logo. But I had to throw something together quick, so we had like a ticket to attend the haunt. And so I threw that together. I posted the graphic online because it kind of looked cool, and just to put a post out there. And people have went ape. I mean, they want these as souvenirs, and so I'm going to have some printed up. But going to kind of just make some available. I mean, we're not going to have a million of them available. But is this about the Indiegogo thing?
Yes.
Well, I'll pump our Indiegogo campaign a little bit. We do have an Indiegogo to help support the making of Harlow's Haunt. If you're so inclined, we appreciate it because it's it might be low budget, but it ain't free.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I mean, anything, because like, we shot 2 weekends ago and we had like 30 extras on set for 2 nights, and then 15, 20 cast and crew, and then we had the location people, and also I don't know, we had 50, 55, 60 people on set 2 nights. So we got to buy a lot of pizza and a lot of
it's a lot, and you also want to feel people are rewarded for their time. Like at least like I honestly broke a rule of set. Like I thought we were doing a video, and I didn't realize that people treat video sets the same as movie sets. So I just thought everybody bring their own food, and they kept telling me they're hungry, and I was like, well, just go order whatever. And then I realized, oh wait, I'm the guy. Like I didn't realize that. Now since then, that's like priority. Take care of my crew, take care of everything. Yeah. Because and I was so young, I didn't understand. Well, not so young. I did that recently, like 2 years ago. So I was like, yeah, I was really young. But one thing I did catch on to your Indiegogo. I want to say, can you please explain to me what this? I know we talked about it before, but can you for this show? Can we talk about what this exposure is? This I like this.
Exposure, that kind of came up in conversation with one of our sponsors. I was talking to him, and we were working out the details of shooting there, and I was asking, clearing up, like making sure that it's, because we're incidentally going to pick up some of their signage and stuff. And in the meeting, I said, hey, how about this? You're a major attraction, blah, blah, blah. Is it cool if we just really, instead of trying to like not really show this or that, is it cool if we like go the other way and just blatantly show where this is and show your signage and all this kind of thing? And the marketing director over there was like, that's a great idea. I'm like, yeah, I mean, you've got a beautiful attraction here and all this stuff. And it's cool. And again, kind of going back to that, making the location, making the place a character in the movie, and making that connection. And so that's kind of how we came about that. And I got thinking, somebody else had mentioned, how about, others, like if a band, say, has a logo and they would want one of the actors to wear a t-shirt, or if they, made, I don't know, like,
yeah, a cup. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Tony and Bob's water, product placement, that kind of thing. So it's like, anything, even a shout out or drop the name. I mean, it's not too late. It's getting too late. So that's not going to be there a whole lot longer. To get your name worked into the dialogue somehow, or just get some exposure. But the cool thing about movies is they're timeless. And, this movie, once it's out there and available on Blu-ray and VOD and wherever else, 5-10 years from now, hopefully people will still be watching it. And so, your product will kind of have, a perpetual life that way, and some exposure. Or if you just want, just somebody's name mentioned or something. I mean, it's not too late. We can work certain things in. We have to work with it now because we are shooting now. Yeah. And we can't go back and do reshoots for it. But yeah, that's kind of it. It's sort of almost like get your product, your name, your business, whatever, in the movie.
Okay, because I just happened to be on this. I was looking at your actual indie. Here's it. Was right here. I was happened to be looking at it right now, and I noticed something. I noticed that it's at $326. Wow! And I was like, wow, where did this come from? And what it was, I also noticed another thing, and I was like, wait, what is this? What did I do? What did I? Oh! Thank you for backing this campaign. Oh, CJ Robles. What? What is this? What is this guy doing? What am I? My Manic Mondayz is going to be part of Harlow's hunt somehow, or CJ is going to be part of it. So,
are you serious?
Yeah, dude. I want to do this. This is awesome. I think you're a great person, but seeing you go through this and you sharing this with me, I was like, you know what? He did this. I asked you last week, so I was very intrigued. And for my projects, I'm totally stealing your idea, but I'm going to pay a little bit. I'm totally doing that. I was like, that's genius. Like I talked about it for like 3 days. I talked about it with one of my coworkers. He was like, okay, that's pretty. He was like, well, he's in business, so he liked the marketing aspect. project, and like you just said, it's a seed. Imagine Harlow's Hunt. If, like, let's say in the next 40 years, I'm a very old man, and it's like, hey, your brand was in that movie. I was like, yeah. I was like, check it out. We like that movie. It's a cult classic. I'm like, okay, great. And if it's not, it's okay, because I'll probably have a copy of the movie and say, check it out. But I gotta say, dude, hold on a second. Sorry, it's right here. Stop share. There we go. I want to say, yeah, I'm backing you up, man. I totally support you, and it's great, dude. This is awesome.
Yeah. Well, I can't say how much I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Not only for your contribution, but for your confidence in what we're doing. That's priceless. And again, I on behalf of everybody, I mean, just, man, I wish I could come and give you a big thanks.
Dude, yo, I'll find you. I'm doing something right now. I'm mobile now, so I can move around the cabin part. I mean, I can move around the cabin a little bit easier. And I'm Joe Ridgew's guy, so I got to keep everybody, keep them on, up there, raise the bar a little bit. Joe has standards for me, so I want to keep it good. Now, joking. But
as part of your contribution, you know what you get. I mentioned this earlier. If anybody does contribute, if you're excited about these, like a lot of people are for whatever reason, you get an autographed ticket, an original. I've only got 2 screen used ones left.
I'll take one. If you can, I'll buy it. I don't care. I'll support more.
Oh, man, I was going to have a few more printed up, and for the first 10 contributors from watching the show, they were going to get that, and we'll autograph it, send it out to you, and be the feature star of your horror memorabilia collection.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's not just I'm not here for the confidence, but I'm here for, like, dude, this is hard. I understand this journey. I'm doing my first feature this year. I'm saying it again, and it's just, I'm just diving into it. Whatever I end up, I know I can move on. Like Tony Todd told me, he goes, your next movie is the next movie to your following movie to the next movie. I mean, like, it's a change. Just keep making your movies, and you'll eventually get better. It's practice. It's you figure it out. And I want to see you get to the end. I want to see the DVDs. I want to see the Q&As. Like, this is where it's at, man. And this is what the Indie Escape's about. This is my personal thing, but I'm like, if we were here to help each other out, let's do it. And I'm like, I guarantee you, like, I know you're gonna get this movie done. I guarantee you, once it gets out, I'm gonna be plugging it in. I'm gonna be telling people, because it's an independent filmmaker, like someone that started from scratch and got here. It's easy when you have the cameras that have your back, or the people, or the producer, and you show up, you mess up, someone makes an excuse for you, or somebody will still give you money, or you're still on the payroll. It's something, but it's different from you to wake up one day and be like, I'm gonna do this, and then you go and do it. And it's like, and I'm learning from you. I mean, I would say it's a thing, but it's awesome. And here I got some of the thank you. Hey, it's cool. Thanks, John. That's cool. CJ, Amy, you rock. This is your movie, guys. Te mando muchos abrazos. Thank you, John. It's we're winding the show down, and I did want to say I appreciate you coming on, and I know you're in the middle of filming too, so it's also like a lot to just take a break, and appreciate you coming here, and it's cool, dude. This is what we're here for, and if I can help you out in any way, I said, like, so here I am. So you're welcome.
Well, I really appreciate, again, your support with the contribution, and your support for having us on. I mean, it says a lot, and I know it means a lot to everybody involved with the project to, again, have that confidence in what we're doing, that recognition in what we're doing. Because, on one hand, we're a bunch of goofballs running around in the rain at Denny's. And on the other hand, we're still doing something pretty cool. And I've never worked on a project where there's been this kind of energy. And I mean, everybody just gets along so well, loves each other. The main cast and the story are pretty tightly woven. And the first time the cast was face to face, it was like these people have known each other for 25 years. I mean, and they hadn't. They had just first met, other than online and things like that. And so it's a special project. I don't know what's going on here, but it's got some kind of special sauce that is really making it something unusual. And again, I give full credit to everybody and their contributions and their support and credit and kudos and all that. And again, much appreciate your kindness.
Hey, man, that's what we're here for, man. From one independent filmmaker to another, dude. Like, Go get it, man. Go at the rock, because that means I know I if you could do it, I know, and I saw you get there. I'm like, all right, I'll get my version. I might trip, I might fall. I am gonna trip, I'm gonna fall, I'm gonna get bruised up, but I know I'm gonna get back up. So I'm just gonna keep walking forward.
Anything, any of my resources, any of our resources, anything that we can do for you in your production, absolutely, it's not a question. I mean,
yeah, just finish your movie, get your thing done, let me watch it, and then that way I have another thing to go give John Dugan crap about. I like just he's like, you know, meeting him in real life, I was like, damn, this guy's cool. Like it's like he's like, I want to just say this, and I don't mean to kiss his ass. I think he's a little too wise. I think that's where I get it. I think he's a little too wise. When you talk to him, when you're one on one, you're like, oh shit, this guy's like, he's talking to me.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, and he talked to him on the shows that he's John. You know, he's like this cool, like, goofy guy. And you talk to him in real life, and he's like, he's still John, he's still that, but it's like more like it's more down to earth. He's like, you get to his level, and you're like, oh shit, like let me slow down, let me chill. I'm with dude. Let me chill. Then, you know, it was a great time. But we already hit an hour. That's usually about my show's length. You know, I think we promoted enough. If not, we could talk. You want to do another shout out? You can. But you know, just while we could just sign off.
Yeah, well, just if anybody would like to follow us, we have a Facebook group on Facebook. It's Harlow's Haunt, New Florida Horror Movie Community 2022. You can look it up, and we've had a ton of people join, new members join over the past week or so. We're about to hit 500, so we're hoping to hit that 500. So if you haven't joined, you know, just put it out there. We have our website up, but right now it's just kind of a landing page. It's harlowshaunt.com because we're going to be posting stuff as we get trailers and teasers and stuff to spice that up some. And then we have our email, which is clever, meetme@harlowshaunt.com. So if you just want to send us a message or you know, talk to me or one of the cast or somebody, just shoot us an email. It's just meetme@harlowshaunt.com. So
meetme@harlowshaunt. That's smart. See, you got to. That's simple. Like, it's like, I mean, like, it's a nice little phrase, and you go straight to where you need to go.
I played on the ad. And it's like they're just kind of, you know, once in a while lightning strikes.
I'm gonna capture it. One last thing, you said you had Easter eggs. Is that clown an Easter egg for Harlow's Hut? Because
no, it's really not. The clown.
Okay. They scare the crap out of me.
Mascot.
It's your mascot.
Yeah. A friend gave me the clown a few years ago, and it basically just terrifies my friends and family. You know, they have the irrational clown fear. So, you know, if they won't come in my office because of the clown and Ouija boards and you know, exorcist dolls, and you know, like, it's creepy in here. But I like it.
I loved one of those Simpson scenes where they show they had the new, or I guess Lisa was born, so they brought her home, and Bart had to sleep with the clown. All the stuff was clown in his room, and on the wall they had a big old clown looking down at him on the ceiling. Yeah. Well, one time when I was like 7, my mom took us to go visit some family members in Mexico City, and the guy, one of the room I stayed in was all themed the clown, but right on top it had the ceiling a big old, like, where the light was the nose of the clown, and the rest of the ceiling was the face. I didn't sleep. I was just like this the whole time as I'm looking at this. I was like, this clown, they still get me, man. That thing looks terrifying. But Terry, thank you for coming on. I'm gonna sign us off. Everybody, thank you for coming out, hanging out with us on my Manic Mondayz on the Indie Escape. You know, we have Harlow's Haunt coming out, so go out to the Indiegogo page and support it. So thank you for coming on, Terry, and thank you for the crew of Harlow's Haunt hanging out with us tonight. And y'all have a good evening.